if you can actually have that empathy and sell ethically, and if people do need their long cut, I have something that's going to make this better, kind of thing.
Right.
That's how you create long-term relationships. And it is a relationship. It's not just a transactional in, out, done, which is where unfortunately some of the stereotypes come from. But rather, this becomes a collaborative relationship where you're actually able to reach out to people and understand what they need.
Mm-hmm.
Am I correct with that?
Absolutely. And it's gotten even more important for a whole nother reason in the last 10 to 15 years. Remember everybody when we all had cable TV, and we picked a cable TV provider and there was a bunch of channels we could access and pretty much just stuck with the same provider, and they'd add channels once in a while. Well, now, as we all know, we have tons of different streaming services. I mean, if any of us actually counted them, we'd probably be amazed that it could be like 15 or 20 of them that we sometimes use. And of course, the people that do the TV shows and stuff know that, because I'm on one particular series that my wife and I are watching, and we're now having to have a third connection to another provider to see like season 3, But why I bring that up is if you have a streaming service that you're not using, you're going to stop paying for it. You're going to suspend your service or stop the service. Same thing is happening in business to business sales now. When I was back in the day, we would have, literally we would have, and I kept one of these relics. This isn't the actual thing, but this is an example of it. We'd have a DVD that had the software on it. And when the sale was, in order to close the sale, you delivered the CD or DVD with the software on it. And if they took delivery, that was considered a sale, and the salesperson often moved on to the next thing. Now, they should have empathy. They should want a relationship. They should want to continue to grow that. It wasn't so required back then. Now it's more important than ever, because the software in many cases is not the close of the deal. It's somebody using it. They don't pay unless they use it, just like our subscription services. If they don't like it, they stop paying, and therefore the company doesn't get the revenue. So in a very strange way, sales has to become more empathetic. I don't know it as that, because it's got to be about the relationship. It used to be you'd close the deal, and then theoretically the salesperson could move on. Now that close is really the start of a relationship of consumption, where the client, the user, is starting to actually consume. So the salesperson has to think about that end in mind. And I think that's thankfully, driving to have more empathy for what the end result is and equipping them for success. A lot of salespeople, you know that a lot of salespeople are wanting to get to know you by, hey, what's your kids doing in sports and all that. And that's fine. But unfortunately, a lot of times it's just surface level. It's sort of like that small talk to make it feel like there's empathy. What's needed is that deeper level of where are you coming from and what are you trying to do? And what are our mutual interests so we can get a win-win? So instead of a sell, it really needs to be about a buy. And once we flip that script, no matter what kind of sales you're in, or any persuasion for that matter, because sales is persuasion. So if you're influencing anybody, if you have somebody that needs to make a decision that you're trying to help them with, thinking about it from the perspective of what's in it for them and focusing on them is going to be the best way to a win-win.
Absolutely. I mean, and what I hear over and over again, perspective taking. Really, because to ask them about, how are your kids, or what do you think about the Knicks or whatever, being surface level, you're not actually taking their perspective. It's just frosting, So I think those are all really good points.
Yeah, well, and you mentioned it too in the intro about the idea of the balance of what it is that client, and this again can apply to anybody in any decision, whether you're buying a car, whether you're deciding to move, take a new job, or do a huge software purchase. There's 3 main elements. It's what's the value you're going to get out of it? What's the benefit for you? And then there's what's the risk of doing something? And then there's what's the total cost of ownership or the total cost of executing on it. And in one talk that I did, I gave the quick example of, back in the day, companies would move you to a new job when they recruited you. And they would, because you're thinking to yourself, wait a second, I'm going to move from Buffalo, New York to Huntsville, Alabama. Like,
Yeah.
what's Huntsville, Alabama like? And I'm thinking there's a lot of risk that could be involved there. Is it going to be right? Will it be the right job? So the companies know that, so they start to de-risk it. And the equation is quite simple. It's value here. If you think of a scale, the tips, and this is in the favor of moving forward with the decision, and this is against the decision, you got value, which would tip the scale in the right direction of moving forward. But what counteracts it is the perception, risk and cost. And the key thing about the empathy part of it is, because this is the math, right? The empathy part is it's about the perception of the value. It's about the perception of the risk. It's about the perception of the cost. So yes, there's hard numbers underneath there, but what is that person who's making the decision perceiving? What are they truly feeling? And are they going to expose that feeling comfortable that you're really trying to help them? Or are they going to hold it close and not want to reveal that? So the dynamic in a sale or any persuasive engagement is very, very multifaceted. And the idea of truly understanding what they're trying to do and even selling them a little bit on the idea of help me to help you. I'm not here to make money. Yeah, I do make money, of course. I'm here to help you. And if they can understand that, and that's why it's good if we can share and be more transparent, now I'm in a better position to help. So there's a little bit of an initial trust, a small amount of trust that starts of, are they really going to help me? And then it's, oh, they are going to help me. Now I'm going to be more open. Now we can get to the perception of those components and then really help them with alleviating the risks so that it works to their favor and their benefit.